Mr. Kranjnik, you come from high-tech sector and have worked both for IBM and now for HP. When somebody asks me, when I go to the States and a friend asks me, what do you do in Slovenia? And when I finish my list of cars and tires and Gorenje and all the other companies I can think about, can I answer to them that we are a high-tech environment, that we also produce high-tech goods, that we are a high-tech country, and if not, what should be done? And do we attract companies from high-tech sector to Slovenia? If not, what should be done?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. I'm happy here to see a lot of my colleagues from the ICT industry here. As you know, ICT industry is not very old one, so it's about some more than 20 years old. And I have to say that Slovenia in the past was really leading the geography, leading the solutions that we were providing to the other sectors. We were leading in the e-government sector. We were among the first countries in the world implementing e-government solutions and so on. So basically, this was, I think, very well recognized in the region, in the small region, let's say, of Southeast Europe, and also more around the world, especially as certain awards have been presented to our companies developing these solutions in Slovenia in the past. Nevertheless, I think that later on, after this success and everything, I think that we fall kind of into a sleep. We let the other countries to catch up. So basically all the countries in the region, okay, of course, bigger markets means in our industry also bigger advantage in developing certain solutions and so on. So this means that when we were selling the first solutions and so on, then we somehow stopped developing everything. And in the meantime, definitely companies from Serbia, maybe from I heard a lot of interesting news from one company from Macedonia who is really progressing in that part very well, even the worldwide. So I would say that we are currently in the position that this advantage that we had in the past has somehow disappeared. And we are currently fighting with the rest of the countries to attract better positions on the market, to get the sales of whatever we produce in the right sectors. So looking this from the corporation, multinational corporation level, if Slovenia is attractive, I think and here I'm talking about any kind of corporation, not about HP or IBM or anything else. But first of all, they will look at the size of the country. So the investment which they might invest in the country, they will first check whether this investment will ever come back. And if we compare ourselves, and this I can tell from my current experiences, if I compare these advantages that we have or disadvantages that we have currently in Slovenia, then I have to say that the majority of the multinational companies, they will first turn into the big countries of the Southeast Europe. And here I mean, first of all, Romania, also Bulgaria. And when we were talking yesterday about this event today, and about the possibility of developing, let's say, competency centers in these countries, I have to say that in Romania and in Bulgaria we have two large competencies centers. One of them is employing 3,000 people, the other one 2,000 people. I can hardly understand or imagine that we could establish this kind of competency center here in Slovenia. Maybe just another thing. This level of employees in that centers is not the high tech. It's not the high tech employees. So it's basically operational works for the region. I would say that our advantage here in Slovenia would be to attract these multinational companies with maybe smaller centers, but with the higher knowledge and the bigger investments into that knowledge that we can produce here in Slovenia. Here we have a possibility, and I would encourage that. And I think that, as I said, my colleagues are here from various companies from ICT. We should encourage that we really implement in Slovenia maybe some smaller centers with maybe 100 people, 200 people, and develop that from that perspective. In the last decade or so, we were talking about national interests in Slovenia a lot. I think we should somehow change the perception of the national interests now. So we heard a lot of interesting topics today. What do we have to do, what the government has to do, and so on. And I would just like to say that we have to break the barriers in our heads. So open ourselves to the world. And this is one of the most important things that we have to do, and we shouldn't be afraid of anyone. So I think our country is so small, and the number of people living here is so small that we should really attract some other people to come and live here. I mean, I don't know, but in Prague, I was recently in Prague, but in Prague lives a lot of thousands of American people there, and they're happy living there. I mean, why not Ljubljana to attract maybe couple of hundred people from somewhere to live and to work here and to do business with us. So I think this breaking the barriers in our heads is certainly one of the things we have to do.